All right, so I'm going to do an analysis of Barbie Doll by Marge Pierce. Oh, how can I get that to go off? There we go. All right, Barbie Doll by Marge Pierce. So the title is Barbie Doll, Marge Pierce. So the first thing that I'm going to do is read to experience the poem. Barbie Doll, Marge Pierce. This girl child was born as usual and presented dogs that did pee and miniature GE stoves and irons, and wee lipsticks the color of cherry candy. Then, in the magic of puberty, a classmate said, "You have a great big nose and fat legs." She was healthy, tested intelligent, possessed strong arms and back, abundant sexual drive and manual dexterity. She went to and fro, apologizing. Everyone saw a fat nose on thick legs. She was advised to play coy, exhorted to come on hearty, exercise, diet, smile, and wheedle. Her good nature wore out like a fan belt, so she cut off her nose and her legs and offered them up. In the casket, displayed on satin, she lay with the undertaker's cosmetics painted on, a turned-up putty nose, dressed in a pink and white nightie. "Doesn't she look pretty?" everyone said. Consummation at last. To every woman, a happy ending. Okay, so there are definitely some poetic devices in here. So we have some repeated words at the beginning of these clauses up here, which is anaphora. We have actually just so much in here for devices. Here in stanza 2, I saw possessed strong arms. So that repeated S sound is, of course, consonants. I also saw here in stanza 3, her good nature wore out like a fan belt. So that, of course, is a simile. And there's a really good example down here of irony. Now, irony is when what you expect to happen doesn't happen or does happen. So you don't expect it and it does happen. So the poem's talking all about this girl, and then we have here, she cut off her nose and her legs and offered them up. And it's like, what do you mean she cut off what? And then we find out, in the casket displayed on satin, she lay. So in the casket now we've discovered that she has died. So this is irony. It's also ironic here when everyone says, "Doesn't she look pretty?" Because in the rest of the poem, it talks about how she has a great big nose and fat legs, which are pointed out as features that are not pretty. So we also have up here, we have many examples of enjambment, which is the deliberate breaking of lines. So the girl child was born as usual and presented dolls that did pee and miniature GE stoves and irons and wee lipstick the color of cherry candy. Then in the magic of puberty, there's a metaphor, the magic of puberty. So puberty is being compared to magic or to a magical time. You have a great big nose and fat legs. She was healthy, tested intelligent, possessed strong arms and back, abundant sexual drive and manual dexterity. She went to and fro apologizing. Everyone saw a fat nose on thin legs. She was advised to play coy, exhorted to come on hearty, exercise, diet, smile, and wheedle. I'm going to highlight these bits here, exercise and exhorted. So that, while it's not a repeated word, there is an aspect of anaphora there because it's that first sound that's repeated. All right, so let's talk. That's a lot of devices, and there are many, many more for sure. Mood, the mood of this poem. I feel like the first stanza, here I'm going to do mood up here. The first stanza is a little bit nostalgic because it's talking about parts of childhood. And then it becomes quite dark because she is being picked on. And she's being forced to identify these shortcomings or these things about herself that are not necessarily admired. So I'm going to say that this is dark and mean. I don't know if mean is a mood, but we definitely have this this feeling that she's continually now having to apologize for these shortcomings. I'm going to make a note of that too, apologetic. And then at the end, the mood is definitely somber because she's at a funeral. She is the funeral. And sarcastic. So this last word here, to every woman a happy ending, is kind of sarcastic, saying, oh, look, everyone thinks she's pretty. At least she had a happy ending. At the end of her life, at least that they thought she was pretty. Okay, and then for form, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stanzas. Form, 4 stanzas. And they have different amounts of lines. So I'm going to say varying line amounts. And is there any rhyme? I don't believe so. Okay, so what is the poem's overall message or theme? Wow, it's kind of a heavy poem. It's all of these insults or things that are wrong with this girl, or it's that she thinks they're wrong, or the world thinks they're wrong. And then she decides that it's too much. Her good nature wore out like a fan belt, and she killed herself. Wow, that's kind of intense, right? So I'm going to say the girl got tired of not meeting everyone's expectations and killed herself. And ironically, it was only then that she got her happy ending, which she doesn't even really realize. So is there a message there? I don't know. What do you think? Is there a message? My favorite line is probably, Well, I really like this line here that says possessed strong arms because of that consonants sound. But I think the big turning point in this poem is right here. And I like that they used a simile to illustrate that. So that's my favorite line. Her good nature wore out like a fan belt. So a fan belt is actually a part of a car that makes the fan run. So if the fan belt is not running, or sorry, if the fan belt's not able to work, then the fan will not run. Her good nature wore out like a fan belt because it is a descriptive way to show that she had had enough. All right, there is my analysis of Barbie Doll.